Yeah, but let's quiet down. My point to you is I understand what you're saying. Quiet down 1 minute. I understand what you're saying, but no. If I want to wear a low-cut top and come to work, I have a right to wear low. If I want to come to work with nothing on, well, there's some laws about nudity on the streets. But generally, I mean, I'm not being facetious. It really is. Why should I change the way I dress because of another person? Sexual harassment? Wow.
And I'm a grown man, but I'm wearing like spandex shorts all day.
That's dress code. That's dress code. Look, no. Let's hold on. Let's backtrack. Because what we're doing, stop 1 minute. Okay, I don't want to do the whistle, but I don't want to do the whistle, but I need everyone to listen for a minute.
Guys, please.
Quiet down. You're confusing dress code and sexual harassment.
Well, no.
I don't know what your employer's dress code is, but if there's no dress code, you can wear whatever you want.
But if you say there's no strict dress code, but you have people that take advantage of the dress code in a way to be sexually offensive to other people.
Like, what if there was like a shirt that said like insert package here or something like that?
That's your employer has to know. Yes, that could be. It could be. And yes. Yeah.
That's a good question.
No, it is. But that's not dress code. That's written material.
Now, real quick.
Wait a minute. Don't laugh because you know what? When we laugh and we think other people don't hear, and these questions, I know there's a little bit of joviness to them, but they actually are pretty important questions. So let's try to at least kind of listen. That shirt is actually written materials. There's no different with that shirt than the email.
So if I wore that shirt, then it's kind of like
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
What about when you're the employer? And let's say I own a restaurant, and I hint at how I want my girls or my waitresses or whoever
illegal.
to dress.
I can already answer the question. It's illegal.
Okay. I may not necessarily say it, and I don't have
We've done a lot of those.
Code.
As a matter of fact, that restaurant case I told you about, that was one of the issues in the case. That's one of the reasons the attorney was going after, because the attorney just didn't like it.
I can see how that happens a lot. I can see I own a bar, and I'm like, hey, listen, you really want to make money, there's certain things, you know?
Right. But look, you can still define, like I said, I worked in restaurants and clubs, and yeah, you have to, I told you couldn't dress like this. But you can't say, wear the short skirt or whatever, show your cleavage. But you can say, I want you to look very hip, very contemporary, that's what I tell you. None of my friends want to go out with me after work. Right. The ones that, like, no, George, you have to go home and change. That suit is too boring. So, I mean, it really depends on your workplace.
Okay.
And it can be defined. But no, you cannot then try to, because you know why? That's sex discrimination. If you're telling, okay, I want all you ladies to dress a particular way, that's sex discrimination. But if you're telling everyone, if you're setting a dress code and saying, men have to wear this and women, we want people to look like this, we want people to look professional, we want people to look hip, or whatever it may be is the definition, that is okay, but you have to treat all people equally in a dress code.
All people of one gender, because if you say women are not allowed to wear pants.
No, you can't do that. That's discrimination. Believe it or not, no, they have to be facially neutral to all. And believe it or not, it is so easy to do. I have written policies with people. It is harder to write those policies that people don't realize that when you read them, it's like, well, why did you say that? Why did you even say that? You don't even have to say it that way. What are you trying to say? I often would say to the employer, what is it that you're trying to get across to the employee? And when they sound it out, they really aren't saying that. So you don't have to say things that way. You can say them in a way that's facially neutral, gender neutral, and you get across how you want people to look in that workplace without offending any one group. And usually it's what? That you don't want people wearing sneakers, jeans. I mean, just say what you want, we usually tell people. Say what you want, and then after you read it, if there's other thing, then tweak it. Don't try to think it out too much.
Let's say I have a significant other in the office space. Let's say Joyce.
I was going to say, right, my name's Joyce. I was like, I'm not. He's targeting me again.
And we like to make out everywhere that we go.
These two have been giving me trouble all day, okay?
That's sexual discrimination, like public display of affection.
We talked about that earlier. Yeah, it can't offend your coworkers.
Oh, yes.
Because you have to remember, you can have coworkers with totally different sensibilities. And you know that. And by the way, I talk about this a little bit because I always think the questions, and this is going to be my sex discrimination statement. The questions that come from the men, I often laugh because you should see the spouses and the boyfriends that come in with the ladies when they fight. Like this guy, he's laughing about this. They go nuts on us. They're like, oh, he looked at my girlfriend, and they freaking out. They're like, what do you mean you dismissed the game? He looked at my girlfriend. He was staring at my girlfriend every day. The same kind of stuff that like people say, oh, I don't understand why that's so bad. You should see the spouses. They're the worst. And the boyfriends and the significant others. When they come in, often we try to get them in another room because we can talk to the complainant easier. They're in the back. They're like, no, he did. And sometimes they'll call us on the phone. Well, how's my girlfriend's case going? Because that guy's still at work. And he was staring at my girlfriend every day. And he told her she looked sexy. And we're like, well, it's not your complaint. We have to really talk to your wife or your boyfriend. But stop it.
No, I'm fooling you.
Are you supposed to trouble? See, I have to discipline him back here. But no, so with all things, no. I mean, it really is, it's the sensibility of the person. You really just remember that you're trying not to offend other people. You're trying to be respectful of your coworkers. So the reality of it is, I don't care about someone kissing, but, who really wants to come to work and see that every day? I mean, imagine, I often say, think about, magnify to say, if everyone did what I did, what would it be like in that workplace? And that's why I laugh. If everyone's walking around thinking I can stare whoever I want to, right? I can kiss, everyone can kiss in the workplace. I mean, what? You're not functioning. It's not a workplace anymore. It would be ridiculous. I mean, so when you magnify, it seems kind of, when I say it seems extreme. But if you magnify, you think that we have had workplaces where it is a total breakdown. You have 4 or 5 people doing this kind of stuff. It's not functioning. The work is not flowing. It can't be because it's a total breakdown. If you ever have 3 couples, imagine 3 couples here who are dating, and right now they're sitting next to each other, hugging and kissing. Would any of you feel comfortable in this room? Let's be honest. At some point, it would be like, you'd say, well, gosh, can we get through the session without, can we take this outside? I mean, the reality of it is, when you think some of this stuff out, that we say, oh, the law is so strict. When you really flow it out and you think it through, you couldn't function in a workplace like that. If you thought you could listen to any music you wanted, anyone could listen to whatever music they wanted. Who in here would be listening to the same music? Think about it. It would be, so I often say, think these things through. When you say, okay, why can't I do this? Think it through. Why can't we all put up the posters we want to put up? The reality of it is we're going to offend somebody. Most of something to say here might not get along. You're going to offend somebody. I know that even though most of my stuff is probably innocent, there's someone that is not going to like something I put up because we're all individuals. So that's why I said it's not about morality. It's about trying to create workplaces where people are respectful to each other. That's it on my end. If there's any other questions.
I remind everybody that that there's 2 sides to every situation, and the person that's feeling victimized by a sexual harassment, it's a nightmare for them because they don't want to come to work. They're thinking about it when they go home. They can't sleep at night. They're dreading seeing that one individual who makes that comment, who does that certain thing that they don't like, and you make it really, really uncomfortable for that person. So you may go ahead and spit out comments like nothing, but that one person that you say it to, it really affects them, And a lot of people, especially in this time and day and age, people are going through problems. They could be going through a breakup, financial troubles, and that is the icing on the cake. So you have to think about those situations and respect each other. And more importantly, in the business that we're in, where we make our money with our voice, with our mouth, you should use that to make money, not to make comments. You shouldn't have that much time in your hands to be,
That's a good point, because that's something I didn't raise quite often. When we get to our investigation employers there, what employer and the HR and all the people are sitting there saying, supervisor, well, how did they find all this time to do this? And you'll see, they'll go back to the workplace, they'll make a million changes, and you'll be, because they're like, wait a minute, they were sending text, because you think about it, text messaging. You were sending these text, what were you doing? Weren't you supposed to be working when you were emailing each other? And so then it creates, they start backtracking, seeing what everyone's doing. They will start micromanaging people. So it has a lot of ramifications. And one last thing to add to what he said, which I think is really important, is I often say, think about that your mother is probably in the workplace, your son, your daughter, your brothers. And often think about, do you want anyone to make this statement to your mother? Would you want anyone to make this statement?